And guys, it's working, bringing you a quick update on EOS. Hope you guys are having a wonderful afternoon. We're looking at EOS to the US dollar, 4-hour chart on Bitfinex. And yesterday we spoke, guys, EOS was operating within this wedge. I told you guys that EOS was approaching the apex of this wedge here. I said it was also approaching this descending resistance line. I said more than likely we were going to see a larger move. It was gearing up for a much, much larger move. I warned you guys if you came in here, look at the moving averages as well as the Bollinger Bands. I told you that the moving averages were all starting to converge on top of each other here. I told you that the Bollinger Bands were bottlenecking, and I said this was a sign that we were going to see a much, much larger move very, very shortly. Sure enough, within hours, I think it was, of me coming up with that update, price had dropped. Looking at price now, it got stopped up in this 6.00 to 76 to 5.75 support, and just recently price ended up dropping as I was starting to make this video. Price just completely dropped down and is now entering this demand zone between 5.60 and 5.10. In my opinion, this is, if you're going to go long, this is a potential area to go long. I would just be very, very, very careful, guys, knowing that this, with the recent news that just came out from the SEC saying they were delaying the decision on ETFs, that was very bearish news for the entire market, at least short term. So the bad news is we might see further downside. The good news is it's going to give everybody an opportunity to get in at much lower prices before what I believe will be a much longer bull run, more than likely at the end of September, possibly before then though. But certainly in the meantime, we all have a chance to get in at a lower price. The downside is, guys, this could go lower. The fact that this just completely, the bottom just dropped out here and just collapsed. This has been obviously a very, very bearish move, is an understatement. The way this just though dropped and almost completely disregarded the rest of this support, completely disregarded this support other than for about 4 or 5 hours, maybe 6 hours, just completely disregarded it. And now we're entering this demand zone between 5.60, 5.10. I do think this is a stronger demand zone here, guys. I think if we look in the past here, prices come down here, tested it quite a few times, and has ended up getting excuse me, guys, and has ended up bouncing off of it fairly significantly. So, as I said, that is a very good demand zone. However, we know that if this does break, if it breaks below $5 is a good psychological number. If we do break below $5, guys, there's a good chance that we're going to drop down into this demand zone, possibly as high as $4, possibly as low as $3.30. So, just know there's not a lot of support between $5 and $4. It could be a very quick drop. And I say $4 just because that's a good psychological number. There's really not a lot of support at $4, but for some reason, the psychological numbers seem to act as support. So anyway, guys, just be very, very careful if you are going to enter a trade here. If you are going to buy in dollar cost average, I would definitely dollar cost average in. And there are a couple ways that people do that. Sometimes people dollar cost average in based on price. If it drops, they'll buy a little more. It drops, buy a little more. The other way people dollar cost average in is over time. So it's not so much dependent on price as it is time. You use a discipline. You say, okay, I'm going to buy X amount. The price is good, so I'm going to buy X amount on this day, and then I'm going to wait. Give yourself a week, possibly a few days, and then buy a little bit more depending on how it goes. And dollar cost average in over time. And in my opinion, that might be the better play. That might be the better strategy in this market, because literally, guys, we could see this market just tank down to $4 very, very quickly. At the same time, it could come in, catch the bottom of this support, and impulse right back up. Now, unless we have any kind of news, though, to drive an impulsive move like that, I don't see it happening. I can see maybe some sideways movement here at about $5. That's very possible, guys, for sure. Sideways movement at $5 area. That again, very, very possible. Maybe even slowly coming down here and then impulsing up. But and without a catalyst, without new money entering the market, guys, I just don't see a reason for it to impulse up the way that it would, the way that we would like it to. Especially if you're going to go long. Now, if you're just talking about day and scalp trading, yes, this would make sense. Maybe ladder into a small position here, expecting a small bounce, maybe up to $6 or 575. This zone up here, what was support, would act as, or what was support will act as resistance. So possibly a jump up here to the 575 zone, a quick scalp trade, then possibly right back down. But all I would, in my opinion, and this is not financial advice, you do whatever you want, but for me, I'm only going to be entering very small trades in and out very, very quickly with very tight stops. I'm not going to be holding anything for any extended period of time. That's just my opinion, guys, just my opinion. Now, if we have some kind of news or possibility of some news coming in, if we get some rumors or something, then I might consider taking a long position, guys. But for now, I think that we might see a small bounce, but I don't see anything more than that. Now, I say that we might see a small bounce because we've got very, very oversold 4-hour RSI, extremely oversold on the 4-hour RSI. Same on the stock RSI. Excuse me. The MACD looking very bearish. Let's go to the daily. Daily RSI extremely oversold, sitting down here at about 24 as well. Stock RSI, the daily, extremely oversold as well. Histogram looking very, very bearish. So the fact that it's so oversold, we will probably see a rise in the short term. But will it be a sustainable rise, or will it be more just kind of a sideways consolidation like it was back here when it hit down this zone? It kind of came up and then just moved sideways up and sideways until we finally got some room. And it took, from the time it hit this zone, it took let's see, took from about 9 to, it took about 15-20 days, guys, for it to get any legs. And even then, it wasn't really, just an impulse up, and then it came right back down, guys. So without any news and new buyers entering the market, I'll just keep repeating it over and over again. Until new buyers enter the market, guys, we're not going to see the bull run that we're all hoping for and we're all waiting for. New buyers are waiting on that information from the SEC. I firmly believe that. But we'll have to wait and see how this ends up playing out. If we look at our 4-hour chart, look at our moving averages and exponential moving averages. Obviously, price is well below the 8-day. Our Bollinger Bands are very far extended, and this can only get extended so far, guys, before it does end up correcting back up. It's like a rubber band. They can only get stretched so far before you're going to get correction back in the other direction. We're seeing the same thing on the daily. They can only get stretched so far before it's going to end up bouncing right back up. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to come right back up and enter a bull run, but a small correction back up, more than likely, maybe around the $6 range, and then just kind of sideways movement. Without any news, I believe that's the most probable scenario. Okay, let's check out our longs and our shorts. Look at EOS long positions. They've all gone liquidated. Stop losses have all been hit. This does suggest, in my opinion, more than likely, anytime you see it drop straight down like this, more than likely you'll see it start to the price will start to correct and come right back up. Short positions, let's check out our shorts. Shorts are stacked very, very high. Once again, anytime you see them stacked very high, more than likely they're going to initially, the market makers are going to move this in the opposite direction, liquidating a lot of these shorts, increasing the price in the short term. Again, I'm not saying that's going to be long term, but possibly a very quick trade in the short term might be beneficial. Again, targeting maybe the upper fives, maybe 575, 590, something like that. But I wouldn't commit to anything long at this point, in my opinion. So anyway, guys, I wish I had better news for you. But in my opinion, EOS is looking rather bearish, as is the entire market. And I think moving sideways, possibly rising up into the $6 to 575 zone would be the best case scenario for the bulls right now. Kind of build some momentum, possibly get on the other side of this descending resistance line here. That would be some positive news if we can get past that. But not without any major news coming out. I just don't see this trend reversing anytime soon. I think more than likely it'll just be kind of consolidating for the next few weeks until we do see a major move. But I could be wrong. I hope I am. I hope I am, guys. And if this thing does decisive, if we get a major bounce and we break right through this $6 range here, and we break right through this descending resistance line, then I'm going to start to get excited, guys. We see volume increase, then I'll start to get excited. But until then, guys, I just don't see any long positions or any real bullish scenario in the short term anyway. So these are my quick thoughts on EOS. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, please let me know in the comments section below. And as always, guys, I certainly would appreciate an upvote or a re-steam or a like, depending on where you're viewing this. And until next time, guys, please trade safe. This is Working, signing out.